Nickelodeon. On the real, that I could side him his 40.
I be seeing you doing interviews with all them goofy ass niggas. I'm bro, fuck them niggas.
I could slide him his days, because I put it in process last week. So Monday, I think tomorrow I should have that shit. On the real. What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? YouTube family, what's the word? What's the word? What's the big deal? What's the big deal with the people, man? Y'all already know we in here, man. It ain't nothing to press that button. And once you subscribe and hit that bell, I'm going to hit you with the mail, man. I'm going to hit you with the mail when you subscribe and press that bell. For real, for real. Shout out to everybody in here, man. Y'all come in here. Y'all hit the like button. As soon as y'all get in here, please and thank you. Please and thank you. I'm late with the stream. I'm supposed to did this shit 4 hours ago. Unfortunately, I didn't wake up in time. I didn't go to sleep until like damn near 4 o'clock this morning anyway, so yeah. We here, locked and loaded. No, I ain't used up all my notifications. Normally, let me see. Y'all come in here, y'all hit the like button for me, man. Come in and hit the like button. Please and thank you. Hit the like button, man. Run my shit up. Y'all already know the rules, man. Ain't nothing changed. Y'all just stare and double tap the screen for me, man. All y'all got to do is double tap the screen for me. Please and thank you. When y'all do that, y'all, when you double tap the screen, y'all help my video get in the algorithm. It starts circulating. You hear what I'm saying? And I be straight with it. 17, 6/10, Monday. This the wrong hours for me to go live. Yeah, this the wrong hours for me to go live. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, 10, 11. I guess it's a decent time. We gonna run it up, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I be looking at my algorithm when the times I should go live. Y'all see the light purple and the dark purple that tell me what time my audience, my followers is on live and shit like that. So I try to pop on when they on. They say a lot of people be having their phone in their hand. A lot of people be watching me on TV. You feel what I'm saying? Mama, they watching me on TV. Mama, they watching me on TV. Shout out to everybody in here, man. Let's get into it, man. We got 051 Kiddo, man. He doing anything to stay relevant. You know, that weak-ass music ain't selling. That weak-ass music ain't selling. Don't nobody want to hear about you being in a car trying to take it far and you gonna shoot like a star. Get your goof ass on somewhere, man. Nobody want to hear about that shit. You still rapping about that shit in 2025. That's a 2010 flow, man. You got to step it up, man. You been in jail, man. You institutionalized. Yeah, that nigga institutionalized, y'all. That's what happens when somebody go to jail and then they get used to being in jail, and then even when they outside of the jail, they still acting like they in jail. You hear what I'm saying? He the type of nigga, you go to his crib, and ain't nothing in the refrigerator. He got shit in his room, on the side, under his bed, snacks and shit. He still think he living in jail, man. Well, let's listen to this nigga, man. Shout out the truth teller, man. He on this motherfucker.
You shouldn't be doing all that to for niggas. I ain't go.
Hey, it's 26 people in the building, man. We been live for 5 minutes, man. 26 people in the building, 3 likes. Come on now, y'all. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but 3 and 26 do not look the same to me, man. It don't look the same to me. I know numbers, goddammit. And that shit ain't right. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for me, man. Go in there and hit the like button.
You should just do interviews with all white members.
Beastie, what's the word, Joe? What's the word, my boy? Beastie,
051 Kiddo.
Shout out to Beastie.
He dissing Money Duke and Youngin hard. Remember, Money Duke and Youngin just lost their life. He dropped a song the other day called No Diss and then started dissing people. You know, he had some strong words for
Man,
the
they
whole
playing like a motherfucker.
for
Show
Money
some
Duke
love.
and Youngin.
Show some love to motherfuckers, man. Y'all don't be wanting to show the love, but I see y'all get on here and y'all support all these clown ass niggas, all these hating ass niggas, these niggas that's built their page off jealousy and envy, man. I done gave niggas opportunities, man, and shit like that on this channel, man. I let your music be heard, all type of shit, man. Y'all stop acting like that. Hit the like button, man. It's easy, man. Hit the like button, man. Matter of fact, like I could show y'all some shit. You niggas don't be wanting to do that shit, man. I don't know why you niggas act like this, man. Y'all need to stop acting like bitches. That shit free 99, man. I will go to these. Let's see. Let me see. Let me show y'all some shit. Let me see y'all. Let me show y'all this shit. Let me show y'all some shit, man. I want to show y'all some shit. Damn, this motherfucking phone be taking all motherfucking day. Y'all lucky this phone tweaking, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go look right here. This is what you call support. Y'all see how this my man's Beastie page, right? Hey, y'all can see right there that like button hit on that video. On that video. On that video, like I could just go up and down my line and show y'all like the motherfuckers I fuck with. I make sure I go and hit the like button on that shit. Even if a nigga hated on me, I ain't doing you no wrong. I ain't taking no subscription away from you, man. I just ain't gonna fuck with you. Motherfuckers like, damn, CEE-HOOD. So you beefing with Buddy? Beefing with who? I don't know, dude. I ain't beefing with dude. We ain't in the same, you know what I'm talking about? He came out here. I slid on him. We did what we need, some music and shit. Smoked the blunt with him. Went about my way. I never knew it was nothing else, man. But let's get into 051 Kiddo, man. I actually got a nephew from Young Money, man. And I got a nephew from Gyro. And I got cousins and shit from 600. And all these niggas hang with each other. Y'all don't tell motherfuckers that y'all be goddamn kicking it and shit. You know what I'm saying? Why don't y'all take off with y'all music and all that shit if y'all showed that type of shit?
Hit the like button. Gold on this video 1,000 likes, cause I'm not gonna lie. 051 Kiddo went extra hard. First he said, zero block claiming that some shit is finna be crazy. Been playing around any motherfucker way. It should have been like that from the beginning. I said, damn, this some, whoa. He basically saying them old block niggas ain't finna do nothing. Then he said, you know, something about, you feel me, shaking ass niggas, loose booty ass niggas. Cause I guess, you know, they was like at a bar, you know, and a lot of people say, man, look, you shaking ass, you gonna get killed out here in these streets. That's basically what he's saying, you know. I thought that was strong. Then he ended it off to let you know, ain't no subliminals. He said F Monadu and F Youngin with the middle finger, laughing emojis, all kind of shit. You know, it's crazy because he dropped a song called No Diss. And then he dissing somebody. You know, I don't really know what's going on, but you know, it always been beef with those two counts. I'm not gonna lie though. Kiddo came real strong on this post that I thought was strong because there's a lot of people felt like Young Money was pushing peace for a little while. You done seen people, you know, chilling and shit. You done seen FYB J-Mane with like Young Money and all kind of shit. Even though they not ops, but J-Mane the pushing peace man. And, you know, they doing the pushing peace interviews and shit like that.
Alright, I done showed y'all enough of this shit. Let's talk about it for a little while, man. Let's talk about it. Nick Gurrendale. Ah ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. You thought you was finna get me to say that shit. You feel me? Yeah, no. I caught on to it, man. You funny, you little rockhead motherfucker. Stanky leg motherfucker. Big boot wearing motherfucker. You funny, man. You almost got me. But let's talk about it, man. 051 Kiddo, man, before he went to jail a couple of years ago, he got out. You know what I'm saying? He was going crazy on the internet. He was getting a lot of attention and traction with his music and all that shit. You feel what I'm saying? Interviews, that shit drying up now. That shit drying up, man. You a fake ass Silk the Shocker rapping ass nigga. You rap like Silk the Shocker. You a fake ass Silk the Shocker. And you, by J-Mane associating with you, right? Let me just tell y'all something. By J-Mane associating with him and rocking with him, now J-Mane he gonna stop fucking with you just off the strength that you did this, and your clout wave gonna fall off because J-Mane not trying to beef with nobody in the city, man. He ain't trying to beef with nobody in the city, man. He don't want them type of problems, man. You niggas doing shit like this, man, that's y'all way to get to the top is beefing. Y'all way to get to the top is beefing with niggas and shit, man. Y'all think that's the cool thing to do with this shit, man. That shit lame as hell, man. You getting on here making videos and doing this shit. That shit weak, man. You gotta find a new way to catch people attention, man. You most definitely gotta find a new way to catch people attention. Whenever I want to. Right? I don't just go do interviews just for the hell of it, y'all. I don't just go do interviews for the hell of it. Whenever I do interviews and shit like that, it's because I got something going with this shit. Like, I might have a mixtape dropping. I might have some shit I'm starting up. You feel what I'm saying? So I always go do an interview every time I put one of my plans in motion. A shit that I'm trying to do, because the interviews are for like promotion for me. The interviews are like for promotion with me. If you see an interview with me, right? And I'm on there talking. Now I done most definitely told you what I got involved and what I'm finna be doing and shit. So y'all can check this shit out and do what y'all gonna do. You hear what I'm saying? So it be like promotion for me. Of course, I'm going to talk my shit in the interview, but I'm most definitely going to advertise what it is that I'm trying to do with this shit. I just don't do interviews just for the hell of it, like Tay Capone. I don't just get on there and be doing all this shit like that. Like, that's why they say Tay Capone. Matter of fact, a lot of people been asking me. A lot of people been asking me. They say, CEE-HOOD, is Tay Capone the snitch? So this was my response. Is Tay Capone the snitch? So with the situation that went on with I don't think Tay a rat. I think Tay put himself in a situation by giving them people a statement. He gave them a statement which he didn't have to do, but he did though, cause them niggas put him in the shit. Remember, y'all, them niggas put him in the shit. So they didn't tell him. They didn't put him up on game. So him being a regular nigga, he just came up with a script and a story, and that story didn't add up to what the fuck they said. So he was in their paperwork just off giving a statement. But when it came time to go to court, right? He didn't he refused to take the stand. He refused to take the stand. So they can't say that he got up there and testified, his statements or anything was used to get somebody put in jail. They can't say that. But he did give a statement prior to having to go to be a witness in the case. He did give a statement. He gave a statement technically by the way y'all look at it and all this stuff, y'all say that he a rat. He a rat. That's what y'all say. He didn't hit the stand. None of his information was used to convict the motherfucker. But he did give them people a statement. And unfortunately, nowadays, if you ever gave the police a statement, they consider you a rat. In my eyes, do CEE-HOOD consider him a rat? I don't consider him a rat because anything he did, it was nothing used to convict nobody. You feel what I'm saying? Same situation with Shark on Land. Same situation with Shark on Land. Nothing he said or did help Just Blow 600 get convicted. Rondo. Oh, that's good right there, Beasky. Beasky just came with some shit. Let's talk about Rondo, right? Rondo lawyer trying to put the case on C-Day. You feel what I'm saying? To say that C-Day was the sole shooter and all that shit. Y'all remember this shit was busting, and they was talking about this shit on YouTube maybe a year ago, a year and a half or some shit. So can we consider that snitching? Yes, we consider that snitching because Rondo knew that his lawyer was finna do this. He knew that his lawyer was finna do this. The coldest motherfucker and y'all can say he the realest motherfucker. And he the stupidest motherfucker as well. It's the 2-for-1 special. It's the blowout special. He get the blowout special. Is Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is sitting in jail right now. D Rose sitting in jail right now for some shit he didn't do. And the nigga who did it is dead. The nigga who did it dead. And he ain't telling on him. Now, you see Terrence Gangster Williams, right? He had all this time. Everybody that he told on was dead, and he came home. Derrick Rose sitting in jail for some shit that he didn't even do, man. Do that make him smart or do that make him stupid? I don't know if he even got no kids. If he got kids or a family and you just sitting in here for this shit, man. Unfortunately, people did lie on him and say they seen him. Everybody already know who did the shit, man. King Von did the shit, man. King Von did the shit, man. We just heard DJU say it. We just heard DJU say this shit on the 600 the Breezy interview. We just heard DJU say it. Like, damn, Von ain't here no more. Why he can't tell and say, you know what I'm saying? And they say his reason of doing it is because he don't want to be considered a snitch. So you gonna go to jail and die, sit the rest of your life in that motherfucker for some shit you ain't did, and the nigga who did it is dead, and all you gotta do is tell the people that he did it, and you can come home. Crazy work, man. This is the day and society that we living in. This the day in society that we living in. And this why I don't want to be a street nigga. I don't want to be a street nigga or considered a street nigga. I'm happy sitting here going to work my jobs. I'm happy sitting here working my jobs. Because guess what? My bills get paid. I'm able to take care of my fucking kids. I could buy some fucking weed if I want to go get me some weed. I could do what the fuck I want to do by working my jobs. And I ain't got to worry about no motherfucker telling on me. You hear what I'm saying? We live in a world today where all this shit is dangerous. It's dangerous and stupid. You can get taken away from your kids. Your kids don't got no motherfucking body besides you. Your kids don't have nobody else besides you. And when people understand that, man, you start doing better and thinking better. I was just talking to one of my homies, a nigga I know for over 30 years, Joe. A nigga I know for over 30 years. I don't say I'm bogus. Not one of my homies, my brother. You hear me? I was just talking to my brother for about an hour. And we had a conversation of how the teenagers is now. Like, we remember, me and him, how we was coming up, and the old OGs, the niggas used to be trying to tell us, hey, look, Chris, don't do that. Don't do that, G. Whoop-de-woo. And you, man, I ain't trying to hear that shit, man. You gonna do what the fuck you want to do off the strength of. You got to find this shit and figure this shit out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why the shorties don't be listening today. But it is very true that a hard head make a soft ass. A hard fucking head makes a soft ass. It's very true, y'all. I'm telling you. These little niggas don't listen, man. And the ones that do listen, they be separated from the rest of the pack. You hear what I'm saying? They separated from the rest of the pack. Like, they might be a little further ahead of getting money. They might have them a crib, a car, a chick. You feel what I'm saying? They might have something on the conversion to where is they living a regular life or something. The ones that learn how to listen and observe. But the ones who don't, they be in a fucked up situation. And always big bro, you would do this, or big bro cannot do that. You feel me? Like, cause they ain't want to put they shit in they situation. They didn't want to put themselves in they situation. You hear what I'm saying? Niggas don't be want to listen, man. And I can't sit there and knock a nigga, cause this is the days we live in, man. Niggas is out here giving you misinformation. Loyalty, LB, what's the word? What's the word? He said, what? He'll be out by his 40s, and he allegedly 4 bodies at least, so that's a good deal if you bring him. Man, no. You know, 600 dead basically is think, oh, no. 600 most definitely ain't dead, man. 600 is living their life to the fullest. On everything I love, man. They is living their life to the fullest, man. They doing their thing. Niggas don't gang bang no more. They realized they grew up. All these people that they lost and dead in jail, and the niggas that's around, they still 600. They just don't gang bang no more. The gang banging part, you don't see the gang banging part, so you say that they extinct and they dead. No, them motherfuckers is still out here and doing what the fuck they do, man. These niggas got jobs, they got kids, they got girl. Y'all, you ain't just hear what I said, man. I ain't say that shit for no reason, man. And I refuse to. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you and argue with you because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. A lot of motherfuckers, you think a lot of motherfuckers don't grow up, but a lot of motherfuckers do grow up. If niggas got kids and all this shit, man, it's a bunch of shorties though right now outside and different name sets. Ain't no niggas outside. We don't have no time. Listen to me, man. You gonna see what the fuck going on, man. I'ma show y'all. I got the content, man. Y'all just wait for these fucking hood to hoods to drop, man. And y'all don't see this shit, man. Ain't no outside. Who the fuck hanging around when you got bills to pay? You hear what I'm saying? When you got bills to pay, ain't no hanging around and all this shit, man. Niggas come to functions and they disappear, man. Niggas is not hanging around, man. It's niggas, and even if they is hanging around on the blocks, they out there trying to get some fucking money. And I salute the ones that's trying to get money. I salute them. They don't live out of state. They don't live out of state. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. You don't know what you're talking about, and I gotta pull you up. I just gotta get this just a pull up. I ain't trying to shit on you, none of this, man. But the information you putting in my chat right now is misinformation. That's what that shit called, misinformation. It's not right. You feel what I'm saying? That shit not right. I know what the fuck really going on. Them niggas don't live out of state. They stay in Chicago. And them niggas every week they getting up together when they ain't working because them niggas off on the weekends. These niggas got jobs and shit, man. They grown, bro. And what interviews? Who have you seen? Who have you seen do an interview? You seen one person do an interview. One person. And if they say they don't live out of state, they saying shit like that because guess what? Just because they working and shit, that don't exempt them from being a target. You gotta be, it's called being smart, bro. Come on, man. Don't be so simple-minded, brother. Don't be so simple-minded. Like for real, this is not the internet. This real life, man. And you going off of, see, this is how people get you just, if that's what you believe, brother, believe it, man. I ain't gonna argue with you, man. If that's what you believe, believe. But I'm right here talking to you, and it's like you trying to argue with me and tell me something. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about when I'm basically telling you what you need to know, bro. But you right. You know, just keep on listening to interviews. They ask people on the interview, so I heard about a shooting that went on that you was involved in, and the niggas say, I wasn't involved in that shit. When they got you recorded on video and all this shit, you can say what the fuck you want in the interview, brother. You can say whatever you want. We've been live for 30 minutes, man. God damn, it seemed longer than that. We've been live for 30 minutes, man. We just chopping it up. This is a morning run through of what's been going on over the weekend. So over the weekend, we had 1090 Jake causing confusion on the internet. 1090 Jake causing confusion on the internet. He done went and disrespected Larry Hoover. He say Larry Hoover a snitch. He a snitch. That's what he said. He bogus. Let's see, man. 1090 Jake. He said, after dude said, dude said that Larry didn't snitch on him. And 1090 Jake said, dude snitched. So this 1090 Jake right here, y'all. Let me show y'all. Y'all can see this 1090 Jake. That's his bitch. This why he say he don't gang bang no more. 1090 Jake got a bag right now. I can't take that from him. That he got a bag. You see him with Lotto. All this Vlad TV. DJ Academics. Adam 22. This 1090 Jake, y'all. This the 1090 Jake that was going to jail and shit. Now, I don't want to offend nobody with what I'm finna say. But y'all seen him, his persona, and his image. You hear what I'm saying? I really don't believe, like, I think that that he a snitch. I think that 1090 Jake is a snitch. Now y'all say, why are you saying that, Hood? Because this video right here. This considered snitching. He said this about Larry Hoover, so it also applies to him. They also said he snitched on some bloods. Sex, murder, money, and murder. $50K bounty on 1090 Jake after he drops his blood flag. Whoa, we gonna get into that in 1 second. Where's the video? Y'all know what video I'm talking about, y'all. The video he did with the news. Tony Bands, what's the word? King Jeezy, what's the word? I said that. I told Seti Nash that what he did was considered snitching. But Snetty Nash, well, I can't say Seti Nash ain't in the streets. I can't say that. Seti Nash been out here, he was screaming the Crip shit and all this shit. He ain't doing it right now. He more, you feel what I'm saying? I can't find that motherfucking interview that he did.
And I was trying to shed light on inmate deaths in the...
How easy is it to get drugged?
And I was trying to shed light on inmate deaths in the system and how many overdose deaths were being reported as natural or accidental. I was sent videos by current prisoners who couldn't get the message out, so I used my platform to be their voice. And I was trying to shed light on inmate deaths in the system and how many overdose deaths were being reported as natural or accidental. I was sent videos by current prisoners who couldn't get the message out, so I used my platform to be their voice. And I was trying to shed...
Listen to him, y'all.
Light on inmate deaths in the system and how many overdose deaths were being reported as natural or accidental. I was sent...
How easy is it to get drugs in a Florida prison?
Every single compound I hit, there was all types of drugs on there, whether it's prescription pills, Molly, some spots there was cocaine and meth, but nothing more common than K2.
Jacob Cherry, a former inmate, posted the videos to YouTube.
1, 2, 3, 4 flips.
He says Florida inmates currently behind bars recorded the videos using cell phones smuggled inside.
People are laid out on the floor, not responding, and there's no staff present, there's no staff seeing this.
The Florida Department of Corrections tells 7 News they are aware of the videos, and the agency takes this information seriously. They call contraband in prisons a national epidemic.
The majority of the drugs that I know of that are coming inside is through the guys. Oh, you're not really making any money, and a $30 phone on the street turns into a $1,200 phone inside a prison. A lot of people are gonna do it.
How easy
Boston,
is it to get drugs
Massachusetts.
in a Florida prison?
Every single compound I hit, there was all types of drugs on there, whether it's prescription pills, Molly, some spots there was cocaine and meth, but nothing more common than K2.
Jacob Cherry, a former inmate, posted the videos to YouTube.
1, 2, 3, 4 flips.
He says Florida inmates currently behind bars recorded the videos using cell phones smuggled inside.
People are laid out on the floor, not responding, and there's no staff present, there's no staff seeing this.
The Florida Department of Corrections tells 7 News they are aware of the videos, and the agency takes this information seriously. They call contraband in prisons a national epidemic.
The majority of the drugs that I know of that are coming inside is through the guys. Oh, you're not really making any money, and a $30 phone on the street turns into a $1,200 phone inside a prison.
Yeah.
A lot of people are gonna do it.
How easy is it to get drugs?
This is a clip video, man. This ain't, I mean,
How
this
easy
is a
is it
video.
to get drugs in a Florida prison?
He did an interview with the new. He did an interview with the news, man.
Andrew, all of us went down for this shit. So we all go to confinement.
He went to,
Andrew, all of us went down for this shit. So we all go to confinement. We all get hit with 120 days. And then I wrote a grievance to appeal the shit. But then the fucking shit didn't do nothing. And then the COs gassed the fuck out of me.
So I know what you said. Basically, you said you ain't tell on the motherfucker you already got in trouble. Like a lot of niggas be like, man, he hit me when they don't know.
Man, I got in trouble. We all already had got in trouble and all already had got sentenced to 120 days of confinement.
No, that's true. That's true. I thought we weren't supposed to put people names and shit though. Even if it was true.
I'm filing a grievance on what's already a disciplinary report. So you have to put every fucking name in it. Otherwise, you're not even gonna beat the grievance on the grounds that you didn't fill out the grievance properly. You gotta put what CEOs was there, what captain was there, what dormant was in, all that.
Did you beat the grievance? You beat it?
Hell no, I didn't beat the fucking grievance. All of us went down for this shit. So we all go to confinement, we all get hit with 120 days.
Forgot about
and then I go
this.
to grievance to appeal
When
this shit.
AK and Memoo pressed his
What's
ass
going
about
on, Private
snitching.
Room? Welcome back. As you can see on that title and that thumbnail, we have a update on Mr. 1090 Jake, aka 1090 Fake, where many people have crowned him as his alleged snitch paperwork has surfaced. September 5th, it looks like 1090 Jake snitched on an inmate while he was incarcerated. I guess him.
The entire case is wild. And immediately when I heard about the situation, I started looking at the paperwork. I got in contact with John Doe. I'm hearing everything he's saying. I'm blown away by it. But the entire case.
Wait, I remember you. What's up, bro? How's life been?
Now let's go to this one. What I just seen. They say 1090J got $1090J. They say you got $50,000 on your head, man. Let's see. I don't know, y'all. You making
so
shit
easy
up
to become
now,
a podcaster with Rivers.
You making shit up now. Or adding shit to stories and shit, man.
Side. You just need a concept and a way to record it. First, go to riverside.fm and open an account. When you're ready to record.
I seen the video, but it didn't say no Fed or no cop, man. You just seen the police.
I normally
coming
don't
out.
pay attention to this guy 1090J.
Obviously,
His recent
get them
interview
some food.
with Bootleg Kev, where 1090J seems to expose the troubles he's going through being associated with the Blood Gang. And it seems that 1090J in this interview basically drops his flag and he quits being a Blood.
Probably I think it is my first time publicly speaking on it, but like you brought up, I'm a white blood. None of that shit's on my Instagram anymore. You know, it made sense in prison. Brotherly love.
I seen that video.
I'm broke. You're broke.
Yeah,
we come
you
together.
just
we
put
eat.
that title together.
They want to fuck us up.
See how
we're
that's
gonna fuck them up together. You know, out here it doesn't make any fucking sense.
We have in the past our channel, we've covered 1090J. For those who don't know who he is, he's a YouTuber. He's a white guy from Tampa, Florida. I believe he was raised in Massachusetts as a kid, and then he moved to Tampa. He would go to jail in Tampa, Florida, where while in jail, he would begin claiming Bloods. He explains this in his interview with Bootleg Kev that at the time there was extreme gang violence on these decks in the jail, and he connected with the Bloods as a brotherhood for protection for himself from these violent encounters.
White people aren't really a factor in Florida State Prison. So it's like if you're white, like obviously you're more in tune with the hip hop shit.
Right.
yeah, you're not gonna get no love in that bitch.
Right.
It's like you really gotta be with the shit, or you just, you know, people are gonna just abuse you because it's like you already kind of don't fit in.
Right.
So you really gotta make yourself fit.
You know, when we did our original video on 1090J, we explained how, you know, just from our perspective and from our dealings,
I ain't talking about
in the
Lil
streets
Jeff right
growing
now.
up and all this stuff, man, that type of energy, we've seen it before. You know, white guys will play gangster role when it's cool to play that role, but you know, once somebody cracks him in the head with a lock and there's all these gang wars, 1090 Jake would eventually come out and admit that he did press charges against the people who attacked him. He wrote letters to the warden, hoping to get out of trouble, and he was eventually moved to another jail because of these violent encounters that he was complaining about. A lot of people said, yo, 1090 Jake snitched. We were one of those people. There were some other instances in his come up that we felt that were, you know, disingenuous to this gangbanger lifestyle that he was claiming that he lived. And we believe that by linking with the Bloods in jail, protecting his face and his and a lot of other things, because there's some stories about potentially men being attracted to him in the jail. So when it was beneficial to claim these blood gangs and rock with these guys and take pictures with these guys, when it was beneficial while in jail, he did it. And then when he came out of jail, he continued to claim the blood gang, and he used
30
it
for
to
30
create
is
his platform
crazy.
on YouTube. It was also beneficial during his rise in the hip hop industry or the YouTube space, whatever. Him being a tatted up gang member from Florida, who also claims Boston, Massachusetts, it was helpful to him at that time as well to be affiliated with the blood gangs. Let's fast forward years later. 1090 Jake is now a bit more successful. He's also had a few run-ins with street guys based on this persona that he's created, whether it's 03 Greedo out in LA. A lot of people feel that 1090 Jake, who made a video about 03 Greedo and all of these different allegations, there were a lot of people in LA who didn't like that. And per 1090 Jake's own mouth, you know, he has some problems with those guys out in LA due to, you know, the 03 Greedo story. Also, within just the bigger realm of hip hop, when Louisiana rapper BG was released from jail, 1090 Jake also would make a story, partly due to Wack 100, you know, kind of putting the battery in his back, but he would kind of make a story about BG and how BG cooperated with authorities. This will also get him some blowback. And we believe that these stories, once he reached a certain level and his story started getting more and more eyeballs, and now he's getting more and more blowback, now he's getting more and more blood gang members reaching out to him and saying, yo, man, I see your success, man. You're doing your thing. I'm OG this. You got to tap in with me. And in the Bootleg Kev interview that just released, y'all can go check it out. Shout out Bootleg Kev. In the interview, Bootleg Kev asked him, like, hey, you know, why would you claim it at this point and then not claim it at this point? 1090 Jake goes on to explain that if he is in a gang and he looks around and finds himself being the richest member of the gang, he doesn't believe he needs to be in that gang. He only joined the Bloods for his own personal needs and wants, stepping stones. And now he believes that, you know, he may be at the top of the gang or black culture. And now he's looking to expand into entertainment lanes with people that look more like him. Him being a Blood member doesn't help that.
A lot of the people that started Blood back in the 90s on the East Coast of New York are all broke and fucked up. A lot of the big homies are broke and fucked up. So if you're 40, 50 years old and your life sucks, why do I, as a 30-year-old who's making more money than almost the majority of the entire fucking gang, what the fuck am I doing over here? It doesn't make any sense.
All all of this came out of 1090 J's mouth. We just wanted to kind of give y'all the rundown of what's going on. I think it's hilarious. I told you guys, 2-3 years ago, 1090 J's a YouTuber, man. You see what I'm saying? Certain things are who you are. You can't claim it. You know what I mean? People who grew up in Chicago understand what I'm talking about. You know, you get told what gang you in when you growing up. You know what I mean? Now, you could pick if you want to, but now you're going to be beefing with the people in your own neighborhood. So, for the boy 1090 Jake, man, the whole fact that it took him to go to jail and be threatened with, sexual abuse or physical abuse, all of these reasons is why he joined the gang. Now that he's successful and believes he could probably hire security or he can move out of certain areas and he doesn't have to fraternize with these people anymore, he doesn't want anything to do with them. This is basically the rundown. This is what an opportunist is. This is what a person does when they're using people to step along the way. So I wouldn't be surprised that whoever he's dropping his flag for to do business with, he'll possibly use them as a stepping stone as well. And when it befits him to move on, he will. This is the personality of an opportunist. This is the personality of a person who doesn't really stand for anything. He just stands for what's good right now. Normally I wouldn't even talk about this, man, but I saw it. I thought that it was something that was interesting. It was kind of funny to me because, we told you guys, I believe we were one of the first channels to call out 1090 Jake for his hypocrisy. And, you're not a gang member. You're not a tough guy. You are a white guy that went to jail. And there were lots of white people that wanted to know your stories. So that is how you develop this following. The hip hop industry doesn't respect him. And he kind of sees that. And now he's trying to transition onto another path. So, hey, man, I hope all the best for 1090 Jake, man. I just want the young people to know. I know the OGs, the real guys understand this, but I want the young people to know, man. Just because you see a dude tatted up, just because you see, him talking a certain way, just because he went to jail, man, it's a million punks that went to jail. It's a million lames, it's a million snitches that went to jail. Going to jail don't make you tough. Having tattoos don't make you tough. Claiming a gang don't make you tough, especially when things get tough and now you're no longer in the game. So, hey, for people that's fans of 1090 Jake, man, we just want to go ahead and put that out there, man. The boy 1090 Jake, man, officially drops his blood flag. It will not help him moving forward in what he's trying to do with his career. And he believes that most of the blood OGs, he says this in an interview, most of the blood OGs are broke, they starving, and all they gonna do is be hitting him up for bread. He don't feel like...
I think if he would have never said all that, then nobody would have never cared. But by him saying all the extra shit and then having all this other shit affiliated and tied to his name, that's where the problem come in at. If he'd have just said he ain't want to be a blood and he was done and all this shit, but then again, people gonna say they gonna always have something to say. People gonna always have something to say.
He should have to do that, even though he did make his money by claiming their game. So, hey, drop in the comments, man. What y'all think, man?
If he didn't respond to them, they'll go away. That's one thing I learned. If you don't respond to a motherfucker, just let they gonna go away on everything. But he keep on responding to people and saying things to people, getting people channel strikes and all this shit, or trying to get videos removed. Just shit like that. Hey, I know you don't want nobody playing with your name and your reputation. I get it. If you born in Chicago, we different. Why nobody calling Memoo out? People don't care. I think because Memoo corrected it. If he corrected and take that video down, the video's still up. If he take the video down and correct it, if he take the video down and correct it, You know what I'm saying? I think because 1090 got a bigger following than Remo. Remo took that shit down once he found out that shit wasn't true. 1090 Jake kept it up. If I got something on my page, right, and I'm on there and I'm saying this and then come to find out it's something else, I'm going to take it down off the respect. Just off the strength. You know what I'm saying? That go to show you who the fuck do shit for views. So since you want to do this shit for views, I'm going to do this shit for views then. Niggas. Hey, man. Well, shit. Well, he got Larry Hoover snitched back up. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to a lot of people content. It's certain people content I watch it and I do. I can't speak for the next man. I gave you my motherfucking opinion. Shit. I can't speak for nobody else. So I ain't gonna get up here trying to justify why nobody else
It's
do it.
1090 Jake right.
I say I do it because on IG. Let's see. James Highsmith says that Larry Hoover never snitched on him. Where it say James Highsmith says that Larry Hoover never snitched on him after paperwork. $20 hours ago. Edited. Yeah, he changed it 20 hours ago. Go to his what? This is Remo. Oh, his Remo OG. This what it say right here. This what I see. It say edited 23 hours ago. Remo and I don't follow that page. Maybe I should start following that page. See that? He must have edited it or something. He must have edited it or something. Oh no. I don't really. 3 days ago. And it say alleged paperwork surfaces of GD founder Larry Hoover snitching on his ops after they. Yeah. This 3 days ago. And it say alleged. That's why he got that shit still up there. If it would have just said Larry Hoover snitching paperwork, but this say alleged. And this from 3 days ago. So it says alleged right here as Remo printed it. So when you put that allegedly and alleged shit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just say alleged. 1090 Jake saying don't say alleged or allegedly. That's different. So yeah, that's why. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You say something or do something, you better be able to stand and back that shit up. As a man, pop your shit. If you talking and doing what you doing, shit. For sure. What else we got on here, man? Yeah, y'all, I was late coming today. They ass tripping. Let's go back to this Durk shit, man. Who the fuck told y'all that this was, hold on, here we go. Let's go to it right here. Now let's go to this. You know know, you can look at a title and see something, but you gotta actually go to the video. See what he talking about. 'Cause I seen this. Lil Durk, second murder for hire charge dropped. Seeking dismissal on first charge. Let's go.
It means the
Good
world
morning,
that
good
I'm
morning, good
able
morning,
to
good morning.
continue building the life for the kids that Jared and I both envisioned.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident. There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to go to court.
Yeah, so the government decided they was gonna play their little hardball, but I want you to listen to the emotions in which they have. Let's go. So I want y'all to pay attention to a couple of things here, okay? The first thing is this. This was done yesterday. So while everybody was enjoying the Pacers-Knicks game, you know, shout out to the Pacers, man. It's going to be dope to see a team that's never won the NBA championship win one. We definitely, I don't know, we might do something, you know, where we have people come through and get an expert opinion. But anyways, I don't care about that. Let's get into it. United States District Court for the Central District of California. What's going on here? Supplement to government's opposition to defendant Banks' motion to dismiss indictment. He's going for the dismissal. You want to do these things, trust me. Plaintiff, United States of America, by through its counsel of record. The United States Attorney for the Central District of California, assisting United States attorneys, Ian Gregory Daniel, hereby files a supplement to its opposition to defendant's Banks' motion to dismiss the first superseding indictment. All right? So the government is basically saying, we're coming up and we're going to tell you why you should dismiss this indictment. Man, we'll explain why this is genius. This file is based upon the attached memorandum of points and authorities, the files and records in this case, and such further evidence and argument as the court may permit, dated May 29, 2025. But it got e-filed yesterday. Okay, so that makes sense. Since the defendant's motion to dismiss the first superseding indictment, FSI, was filed, a second superseding indictment, SSI, has been returned that charges defendant and his co-conspirators with the additional crime of stalking resulting in death and removed the introductory paragraph related to defendant's lyrics about greenlighting a murder. The sole basis for defendant's motion, as defendant he concedes that SSI's his motion to dismiss and his request for grand jury materials under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E-3E II, docket 166 at 1. Defendant, however, changes course in his reply brief and attempts to manufacture a new basis to pierce grand jury secrecy. Defendant claims the grand jury transcripts may be relevant for impeachment and/or trial preparation. Disclosure will therefore bear on the merits of pretrial motions and trial defense alike. Defendant's new arguments further show his request is a speculative fishing expedition, meaning y'all lying. Which Supreme Court and Ninth Circuit law clearly prohibit, the motion should be denied. Defendants' new arguments do not establish a particularized need. As set forth in the government's opposition, the proper functioning of grand jury system depends upon the secrecy of the grand jury proceedings. United States versus Douglas, the burden is on the party seeking disclosure to show that a particularized need exists for the materials that outweighs the policy of secrecy. Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company versus United States. Defendants' new arguments based on his need to prepare for trial, fail to satisfy this heavy burden. The Supreme Court has made clear that a defendant's general desire to prepare for trial is insufficient to pierce grand jury secrecy. See United States versus Procter & Gamble. But that is precisely what defendant seeks to do. Here, defendant asserts that he is entitled now under Rule 6E-3EI to any grand jury testimony referencing the introductory allegation in the FSI concerning lyrics to one of the defendant's songs because it will expose a fundamental bias that has tainted every stage of this investigation and prosecution of this case, and that disclosure will therefore bear on the merits of pretrial motions and trial defenses alike. Docket 166 at 2. Accordingly, on its face, defendant's request to disclose
grand jury transcripts to assist with his trial preparation fails to amount to a particularized need that outweighs the need to maintain grand jury secrecy. See Procter & Gamble. Overruling district court's disclosure of grand jury materials for the purposes of trial preparation. Reisman versus United States. Rejecting defendant's request to re-examine whether Rule 6 should permit disclosure of grand jury materials for adequate trial preparation. United States versus I don't know how to say that. Whatever.
Explain what the fuck you
trial
just
preparation
read,
is sufficient to show that
motherfucker.
defendants had a particularized need for the production of grand jury testimony that outweighs the secrecy of grand jury proceedings. United States versus Taylor.
Come on, man. When you reading the paperwork, bro,
You're not ready.
when you doing paperwork, you know what I'm saying, for y'all that do paperwork and shit, for y'all just to read all that shit like that and run it on, you know what I'm saying, without stopping to explain what the fuck you just read to us, you know what I'm saying, it really gets like it's dragging. You know what I'm saying? Just a little word of advice. Cause then you finna skip to the next part right here.
Such while noting it is difficult to imagine what need could be more general than a need
without
to prepare for trial.
explaining the
Indeed,
first
requiring
part.
disclosure of grand jury testimony on grounds advanced by defendant would nullify the safeguards for grand jury secrecy, as every criminal defendant could make a similar claim. Likewise, defendant's assertion that he meets the particularized need standard because he faces a certain injustice if he were forced to litigate this case without access to impeachment materials that are known to exist by the defense fails on multiple grounds. While the need to impeach testimony or refresh recollection at trial can establish a particularized need for disclosure of grand jury transcripts, United States versus Fishbach and Moore, emphasis added, speculative assertions that a witness may be impeached by grand jury testimony falls well short of justifying a breach to grand jury secrecy. See United States versus Hollis, unpublished sweeping assertion without more fails to establish the existence of such a need in this case, and that disclosure will not compromise the integrity of the grand jury process. This is particularly true when no witness has yet to testify at trial. Coupled with the government's statutory and constitutional obligations to comply with Giglio and the Jinx Act prior to and during trial, see in RE grand jury testimony, bald assertions of need to use grand jury testimony to impeach or refresh recollection are not sufficient unless a party can point to an actual inconsistencies or inability to recall. Barrio, whatever the hell, reject the request for grand jury testimony, noting that the government must still produce this evidence if necessary to comply with the Jinx Act, Brady, and Giglio. Defendant does not credibly dispute this binding authority and instead relies on cases that have no bearing here, and Dennis versus United States. For example, the Supreme Court found a particularized need for grand jury disclosure after key witnesses had testified at trial, including one who admitted on cross-examination that he had in earlier statements been mistaken about significant dates. Indeed, the Ninth Circuit has held that Dennis does not sanction across-the-board fishing expeditions by defense counsel who, under the Jinx Act, are entitled to pretrial statements of government witnesses at the time of trial. United States versus Kim, defendant's reliance on United States versus Reed is similarly inapplicable, as the case involved an exception to grand jury secrecy, Rule 6E3E2, CID at 1185. The defendant has already conceded does not apply for document 166 at 1. We're not going to read the read part because it doesn't really matter. Moreover, defendant's insistence that it is a certainty, not mere speculation, that the government presented false evidence to the grand jury document 166 at 2 is misplaced. While defendant may believe that a grand jury witness misattributed defendant's lyrics to SR's murder rather than sanctioning other violence, it is speculation that any false information was presented to the grand jury. It technically was because y'all didn't do your homework on the lyrics, but whatever. Defendant's request does not outweigh the continued need for secrecy because defendant's request for grand jury materials to prepare for trial fails to demonstrate a particularized need for disclosure. It cannot outweigh the continued need for secrecy in this case. While defendant may seek to minimize the ongoing need for secrecy in this case, the government maintains, as explained in its opposition, that preserving the grand jury's well-established secrecy and independence is paramount in this case, where there have already been attempts to threaten witnesses. Docket 161 at 13, as the Ninth Circuit explained and reverses a district court's order for disclosure of grand jury materials, even after there had been public disclosure of portions of the transcripts at trial. The broader societal interest in protecting grand jury secrecy remains, even though disclosure to one party may have defeated the secrecy interests of a particular witness or the party accused before the grand jury. Fishbach and Moore Incorporated, as explained above, and in government's opposition, that broad societal interest is all the more forceful in this case. Conclusion: as defendant concedes, his motion to dismiss the FSI is moot and should therefore be denied. His request for grand jury testimony should also be denied. Trial preparation and pretrial litigation are not grounds for production of grand jury testimony.
What if recording high-quality content, editing like a pro, and streaming like a star was as simple as hitting record? With Riverside, it's just that. Riverside makes the entire process easy.
Thank you, sweet.
Well, Drew feeling was either feeling like Drake when he dropped back to back, or feeling like Kendrick when he hit him with the Not Like Us. Because, bruh, Drew feeling decided to say, you know what? I'm all in. Check this out. My bad. I forgot. May has 31 days. Because on that 31st day, Drew Feeling said, oh, y'all want to play with me? We finna strike back. United States District Court, Central District of California, United States plaintiff versus Durk Banks defendant. Defendant Durk Banks replied in support of his application for review reconsideration of detention order. Now, let's understand this. Drew is trying to get them to show their hand more and more. And you can tell, you can absolutely tell it's working, because you're seeing the plaintiffs, aka the feds, essentially saying certain things that you can infer they got emotions behind this. Defendant Durk Banks, through his attorneys, Phil, Marissa, Jonathan, Christie, hereby files his reply in support of his motion for review.
You got 175.
That's 159, 162.
LB, you got 175.
Mr. Banks should be released on bond with conditions. This reply is based on the attached memorandum of appointed authorities, the files and records in this case, and such further evidence and argument as the court deems appropriate. Let's go. Memorandum of appointed authorities introduction. The government cannot carry its burden of showing either of the following: that by clear and convincing evidence, Mr. Banks is a danger to the community, or that by a preponderance that he is a flight risk, and attempts to paint him as a dangerous man fall short, resting largely on allegations of other acts of violence that are unsupported by evidence sufficient to sustain criminal charges. It points to flight records that show a planned trip to Dubai that is wholly consistent with Mr. Banks' history of international travel. Remember when I told you, I kept on saying, bro, why are they not bringing this up? The reason...
Damn. What he was trying to say.
Flight risk, and attempts to paint him as a dangerous man fall short, resting largely on allegations of other acts of violence that are unsupported by evidence sufficient to sustain criminal charges. It points to flight records that show a planned trip to Dubai that is wholly consistent with Mr. Banks' history of international travel. Remember when I told you, I kept on saying, bro, why are they not bringing this up? The reason they did not do that is because they waited for this moment. It's like the last, y'all remember watching those freaking cartoons, and then at the end they just pull some miracle? This is kind of what's going on here. Not necessarily a miracle, but that's exactly what the heck is going on. So it points to flight records that show a planned trip to Dubai that is wholly consistent with Mr. Banks' history of international travel, including multiple visits to United Arab Emirates. And finally, it makes much hay out of Mr. Banks' use of other inmates' phone minutes to speak to his wife and children, his father and longtime manager. A rule violation that wasn't even severe enough to warrant formal disciplinary action by the Bureau of Prisons. Those phone calls have no bearing on the issues the court is called upon to decide here. Yeah, that's how you do it. Flight risk and danger to the community. For his part, Mr. Banks offers an enhanced bond package that demonstrates a vested interest in appearing for trial. $4.5 million in cash, including $3 million of his own money and $1 million from Alamo Records and $700,000 of equity in his mother's home. He volunteers to be confined to his home with his wife and children, surveyed around the clock by a reputable security company that report directly to the court pursuant to the Bail Reform Act's mandate that the court release Mr. Banks subject to the least restrictive combination of conditions necessary to ensure his appearance in the community's safety. This court should release Mr. Banks on bond. Argument. Mr. Banks is neither a danger to the community nor a flight risk and should be released on conditions. Little to no weight should be placed on the unreliable allegations put forward in the government's papers. And looking at the objective record in this matter. The court will conclude that Mr. Banks should be released. He offers a robust bond package to mitigate against any concerns that the court may have about his release on bond. The government's reliance on unsubstantiated allegations from the Chicago case is misplaced and does not square with the government's position in this case. Remember when I told y'all, you typically gonna need 3 if it's gonna be in your favor. This is Durk's greatest chance at getting out. This right here. The government repeatedly cites the allegations from a federal case out of Illinois where Mr. Banks has never been charged and will never be charged. Despite the passage of over 3 years since the underlying incident, the government's own exhibit reveals that the allegations pertaining to Mr. Banks are based primarily on information from a cooperating human source, CHS1, described in an affidavit as a paid FBI informant and former gang member with a criminal history. Most importantly, the United States Attorney's Office of the Northern District of Illinois has confirmed that they do not plan to supersede the charges there to indict Mr. Banks in connection with the ongoing case in United States versus Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell. See Exhibit 1 transcript. We're going to get to that too, because I know y'all want to see that. And all YouTubers that's reacting to this, I don't care. I don't even care if you don't like me. I don't strike people's channels. Man.
Everyone always talks about semaglutide, but no one ever dives into the science behind why it works. So,
Mr. Banks, enhanced bond package mitigate against any
fuck. What the fuck? Come on, Sadie. Let me hear that shit.
Asked and told him, tap in. You know what I'm saying? Come kick it with us. Pull up on the lamb. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what happened. They basically concocted this thing to say, this is the dude that killed D-Thing. I ain't seen one person actually connect Buddy to actually killing D-Thing. Some of y'all gonna be like, man, security. Or pretrial services as well as extra consequences for non-conditions that will to the jurors about witnesses and all is a distraction. This in his defense and maintain his family and professional obligations. Now, I know I get accused of picking and choosing and stuff. I don't think he's going to get a bond, but I will say it would not surprise me if he did. I think Drew's whole entire thing is a distraction to find out about what was said to the jurors, about witnesses, and all of this crap. I think that what he's doing is a master class of manipulation. And some of y'all are going to be like, man, Sonny Dash, you saying it, and you know the feds is watching and all this crap, right? You think they ain't figured this out? Like, I either got to be like a top-ranked genius, or the feds got to be some of the dumbest son of a bitches that we've ever heard of in our life. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what that is, bro. Drew is playing a hell of a game, and he, to me, in my opinion, is showing y'all what money does and when you have a thirst for this crap. Because if you think about it, Drew messed around and beat a second murder for hire charge without even stepping foot in it. The feds revealing that he could have been in that crap. You don't think Drew Finley hit some people up and had them look into it? Drew was waiting on this. And a lot of people will do certain things and take certain stances because it shocks us, myself included. Nobody here is exempt for that. You might hear someone go, God dang, bro, like, what the hell just happened? And while you're sitting there, you're looking, you're going, man, this is bad. This shit bad. So the evidence that they had to, quote unquote, connect Lil Durk to the second murder for hire in Chicago with D-Thing was simply this, and I need y'all to really, really pick up on this one. It basically said this. Dude got caught lacking, got shot. Them cats who shot him was BDs. Dude that got killed was GD. Them cats basically got wind that Durk was on his way to Chicago to do the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, and Durk had basically called a bunch of, top-ranked cats and told them, tap in. You know what I'm saying? Come kick it with us. Pull up on the lamb. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what happened. They basically concocted this thing to say, this is the dude that killed D-Thing. I ain't seen one person actually connect Buddy to actually killing D-Thing. So, that right there, yeah, we'll see. But as far as I'm concerned, I ain't seen it. Does it exist? Probably, but I've not seen it. So that's all I'm saying. So they basically say them OTF cats is acting like they did that. Well, if they gonna act like they did that, shit, we need some bread.
What the science is showing us is the universe appears to be alive, it appears to be conscious.
All right, we got some updates to do here. Now, y'all know, whenever I get these documents, and if it's not anything substantial that I need to speak on, I kind of save them up to get a couple of them in a row, because, especially when they're small. Now, this was about a week ago on the Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell's case, Stephon Mack, murder for hire. It says, attorney withdrawal. The United States of America, by and through its attorney, Andrew S. Altros, United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, hereby presents notice that the undersigned Assistant United States Attorney, Brian Williamson, is no longer assigned to this case. Now, that means one of the
Which video? Oh, it's alive. Alive. It's the live from last night.
wasn't even severe enough to warrant formal disciplinary action by the Bureau of Prisons. So where's that interview with DJ Academics? I don't see that on there. Because if the agent was monitoring, there was plenty of time to catch that interview. Not to mention, even if she missed it, they're recorded. So all she got to do is go back and listen to the day before. But y'all ain't mentioning that part, are you, Drew? Those phone calls have no bearing on the issues of this court. It's called upon to decide here, flight risk and danger to the community. Now, Durk done up the ante on the amount of money he's willing to put out there. For his part, Mr. Banks offers an enhanced bond package that demonstrates a vested interest in appearing for trial. $4.5 million in cash, including $3 million of his own money and $1 million from Alamo Records, and $700,000 of equity in his mother's home. He volunteers to be confined to his home with his wife and children, surveyed around the clock by a reputable security company that will report directly to the court. Pursuant to the Bail Reforms Act, mandated that the court release Mr. Banks subject to the least restrictive combination of conditions necessary to ensure his appearance and the community's safety. This court should release Mr. Banks on bond. The argument is, no, let me just say this. All this is telling me is, if he's got this much money that he can just throw away, imagine what he's got that nobody knows he's got.
Oh no, is this like an in the pool party? Can't get in there. I need food. Can't swim while I'm eating. Genius. Tiny bites. The chip will keep you dry. That felt mean and intentional.
Monday.com's AI blocks are a total game changer.
Excuse me if I find that hard to believe.
You know that llamas are biologically incapable of lying, right?
Does that come with knowledge?
Mr. Banks is neither a danger to the community nor a flight risk, and should be released on conditions. Little to no weight should be placed on the unreliable allegations put forward in the government's papers. Now you sounding like you're uneducated, because that should not say government's papers. In looking at the objective record in this matter, the court will conclude that Mr. Banks should be released. He offers a robust bond package to mitigate against any concerns that the court may have about his release on bond. Now, let me say this. Hey, Nine, what's up? If I was Drew, I'm going to be in there asking my client, Dirk, how much money are you willing to lose? Because I know you're fixing to take off as soon as they give it to you. You're going to take a boat, a slow boat to China, whatever. How much money are you willing to throw away? And it's got to be something substantial so that we can get this bond. That's what I see. And make sure my bill's paid in full first. That's just my opinion. And I'm entitled to it, so kiss my ass. It says, the government's reliance on unsubstantiated allegations from the Chicago case is misplaced and does not square with the government's position in that case. Again, another opinion of Drew's. The government repeatedly cites to allegations from the federal case out of Illinois where Mr. Banks has never been charged and never will be charged. That is an opinion. And I'm going to get to why. Despite the passage of over 3 years since the underlying incident, the government's own exhibits reveal the allegations pertaining to Mr. Banks are based primarily on information from Cooperating Human Source CHS-1, described in an affidavit as a paid FBI informant and a former gang member with a criminal history. I think it was based off of wiretaps. Exactly. Exactly, Divine. Most importantly, United States Attorney's Office of the Northern District of Illinois has confirmed that they do not plan to supersede the charges there to indict Mr. Banks in connection with the ongoing case in the United States versus Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell. Again, wordplay. It says, when asked by the judge whether the case would be superseded, the government affirmed that it would not be. Bullshit. That is not what they said. You left out a word. Wordplay. The court should give no weight to these undercharged and uncorroborated allegations. And that's another thing, is that we got to remember, and I know Drew's not stupid, so he has to realize this. Whether or not Durk is actually charged in the Chicago case or not, just for the government to be accusing him lets the judge know that this is his character. Okay? If the sister United States attorneys in Chicago would have had over 3 years to evaluate the evidence, have determined not to change Mr. Banks or even name him as a co-conspirator like they have with the other two individuals, this court should not rely on the same non-meritorious allegations to justify in whole or in part Mr. Banks' continued detention. Well, let's see. Let's take it back to October 2021, when the Oblakians were arrested. Or actually, let's take it further back. February of 2021, when Kenny Mack was arrested on the RICO. And then it was all the way to October of 2021 when the Oblakians got arrested on the RICO. And they never had a heads up that there was a RICO coming. And then they released the paperwork. They did all this, that, and the third, whatever else. And it was not until April of 2022 when they made the superseding indictment and added Ralph Turpin on there. Am I right?
At Planet Fitness, there's a number of ways to get strong, and they all add up to one membership, the Planet Fitness Black Card. Access any location, bring a friend anytime, and...
I'm just saying. Wordplay. Mr. Banks' travel to Dubai is consistent with his international travel history. As pre-trial correctly found, Mr. Banks is not a flight risk. As part of his life and career as a recording artist, performer, and entertainer, Banks traveled extensively, both domestically and internationally. Touring is an integral part of the job. Traveling to Dubai was not unusual or irregular for Banks. He has performed at concerts and recorded there. As a devout Muslim, traveling to the Middle East is also deeply important to Banks' faith. The only faith he's got is in his money. Banks was not trying to flee in this case. He was traveling to Dubai, as he had done many times before, as a part of his professional and spiritual life. If he had been made aware of criminal charges against him and had been provided the opportunity in this case, Banks would have done exactly what he did when he faced serious criminal charges in Georgia. He voluntarily turned himself in with counsel, entered a plea of not guilty, addressed the allegations in court, and if granted bond, likely he was in Georgia, complied with the terms of the bond so that the court would hopefully allow him to continue to work and provide for his family. Violations of the MDC phone rules have little bearing on dangerousness or risk of life. If the MDC violations relied upon by the government have little to no bearing on whether he possessed a danger to the community or a flight risk, in the attached declaration of Stephanie Flores, who has over 20 years of experience working with the Federal Bureau of Prisons, Ms. Flores concludes that while Banks' phone infractions didn't violate policy, they appeared to involve personal family communications rather than criminal activity. Exhibit 2, the declaration of Stephanie Flores, is what he's referring to, what we read already. Such violations commonly occur in prisons facilities due to detainees' desire to maintain family contact under restricted communication limits. So how did the phone interview with DJ Academics work into that? These violations could have been addressed by the BOP if they were deemed important enough and remedied with notice to Banks and a disciplinary hearing explaining the seriousness of the infraction and imposition of sanctions. Forrest does not, however, believe that these infractions are an indicator that Banks will engage in future non-compliance behavior. Y'all don't know what is what. Y'all don't know. Look at all the songs, or look at all the little video clips he's put out where he's just freestyling and admitting to having cash kill, different things like that. Nobody else seems to notice that, right? Nobody else seems to notice this. None of y'all in the authority position seems to notice it. Why? Because y'all don't even know who these people are. If you were to play that clip in court right now for the judge and for Drew and for everybody else, all they're going to hear is something about a tree and you're going to see. They got no clue that Cash was gunned down and somebody snapped a picture of him laying by a tree. And it was OTF that did it. They wouldn't know. Durk loves to brag, though. That's one thing he loves to do. Mr. Bank now proposes an enhanced bond package that addresses his concerns about flight risk and demonstrates his absolute commitment to appearing before trial. He offers $3 million in personal assets and security, representing a substantial portion of his wealth. This amount is significantly higher than his previous proposal and reflects his commitment to the legal process and defending these charges in court. Additionally, Alamos Records is offering $1 million in cash and a business associate $500,000. What is more, he offers $700,000 in equity from the Georgia house that his mama lives in, and I'm sure I'm a mother. I said, go take the house. Go ahead, I'll go get another one. We got all this money. We're swimming in money anyway. Significantly, this is just not any residence. This is some home where his mother lives. Banks would never risk his entire family's safety and security. Bullshit. Nor would he be able to, given that he is volunteering to be surveyed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by an established security company that he handpicked himself, although Banks would be bearing the costs associated with the surveillance. They would be answering to the court and not to Banks. It would report regularly to the court and pretrial services, as well as implement incident response protocol in the event of any attempted violation, including prompt law enforcement notification where necessary. The enhanced package far exceeds typical bond amounts and creates a powerful financial incentive for compliance. The government argues that Banks' wealth makes him a flight risk, ignores the basic principle that the substantial securities reduce flight by risk of creating overwhelming financial consequences for non-appearance. So they want him to get bond tomorrow. Now,
in Puerto Rico, we call ourselves Boricua. We're proud, passionate, and full of life.
If it was legal, I would really want to run some bets on here. But it's not legal, so I can't. But my bet would be, if he gets bond, he's fleeing the country. I've seen crazier shit happen. That's all I can say. I've seen Durk slide through cracks before. I never thought that he would slide through the cracks in Georgia, and he did. So, now, the other document on Durk is transcripts, which Drew is purposely misquoting from. Let's go back there. A lot of crazy shit. Now, this is Exhibit 1. What I want you to notice is this. It comes from August the 5th of 2024. What I want you to also notice is this. Morris Pasquale and Jason Julian. What's that mean, Miss O'Bara? Well, a lot of shit could have changed since August the 5th, and they're not required to tell you about it. And what I've proven for about 4 years now is whenever Morris Pasquale is involved in something, it's a plea deal been made because somebody done snitched on somebody. And when there's what do you call them, confidential sources involved, Jason Julian seems to be all up in it. I'm just saying. Now we got Keith Spiegelberg and Goldberg representing AJ, and Miss Holly Blaine representing Kyle. So again, whatever was said almost a goddamn year ago. And again, Drew did the wordplay. Now this is where they all enter in, everybody introduces themselves, whose attorney is who. There we go. The judge says, Miss Amore, are you on? All right, she may dial in, but we can proceed without her. I'm assuming, is that okay? Miss Blaine says, yes, I have her trial calendar. The judge says, okay, very good. Well, this is a murder case. It was death penalty eligible. Has the government made a decision on whether they're going to seek the death penalty? Julian says, we're still working on it, Your Honor, but I think we should proceed as if we're not going to do that. There's one more thing we need to do, and then we'll file what we need to file. Now, I don't know what that one more thing is, but what I can tell you is that they did go ahead and file that they were not going to seek the death penalty. Like I said, this has been almost a year ago. There's been a lot of documents that's been filed since then. What is this word right here? The judge says, do you expect a superseding indictment in this case? Julian St. Julian, what's his name? James St. Julian, there we go. That's his real name. I don't know why he drops off that Saint. That's in his name. He says, no, Your Honor. The judge says, how long a trial would be? Jason says, I think 2 weeks is generous. The judge says, okay, does defendant agree that I'm assuming it's a jury demand for the defense. Is that correct, Mr. Spiegelberg? Spiegelberg says, that is correct, Your Honor. The judge says, and Miss Blaine, she says, that's correct, Your Honor. The judge says, okay. Do you agree with the 2-week assessment, especially if it's not a death penalty eligible? If it is, the death penalty has been sought. It's a whole different ballgame. But if they're not seeking it, 2 weeks seem reasonable. Now pay attention, folks. Keith Spiegelberg is going to tell you about these word games. He says, the last trial I did with Jason Julian, he anticipated that it would be, 6 weeks. It wound up being 3.5 months. What does Jason say? Our presentation took exactly 6 weeks.
Game of Thrones King's Road is now available on both PC and mobile with Google Play Games. Experience the Game of Thrones universe on a larger PC screen. And carve your legend in the 7 kingdoms with enhanced mouse and keyboard controls.
So let's go back up here. Do you expect a superseding indictment? No. That don't mean somebody else won't pick it up and do it. I'm just saying. Speckleford said, okay, all right. Yes, no, I think 2 weeks is fine, Your Honor. All right, Ms. Blaine, do you agree? I think that seems accurate. All right, when will you be ready to try this case? From the government's perspective, let's start with you. Then let's talk to the defense and we'll see when we can get a date. Jason says, Your Honor, I think we're looking at sometime in 2025. And we had all conferred before this, and there's a tentative date that works for everybody. The government's trial calendar is totally free in 2025. But I think, given some conflicts, there may be a date later in 2025. October 14th is what we were looking at. It seems to work for everyone. So what's that tell y'all? They already knew they weren't going to have none of these cases go up this whole damn year. The judge says October 2025, a year from this October. Julian says, yes, Your Honor. What's the view of the defense on that? Keith Spiegelberg says, we would agree with that date, Your Honor. Judge says, Ms. Blaine, Your Honor, I can shed a little bit of light on the length of the delay. Judge says, yes. She says, Mr. Powell was arrested several months after Mr. Montgomery Wilson, so we only came into this case in March of this year. So we are playing catch up from the start. The government was very good in getting us all of the discovery. It's just taking quite some time to get through the discovery on behalf of Mr. Powell. So from our perspective, my trial calendar for the end of this year, and I don't expect all of these trials to go, but between now and the end of this year, I have 8 trials on the calendar, on the books. So we also have a material support for terrorism trial in front of Judge Blakely that's scheduled for the end of May, beginning of June next year. Talk about 2025. So that's going on right now for that attorney. So I don't think that we would be in a position to try this case until after the terrorism case, which has been delayed multiple times. I believe that's a 2018 case. And that's, the judge says, and that's a set trial date before Judge Blakely. She says, yes, that is a set trial date to start the Tuesday after Memorial Day in front of Blakely. Okay, Spiegelberg, I'm assuming trial schedule is similarly busy. He says it is, but it's not that damn. But I do have a schedule set in a trial set, I believe in May. That'll take a couple of weeks. All right, Goldberg? Goldberg says, yes, Your Honor, I have multiple obligations between now and the fall. That's why we're eyeing the next fall. Also, for what it's worth, there are some additional discoveries we're anticipating from the government. That's significant. And it may be relevant to the pretrial motion, which would take some time and would be, we believe, that is appropriate with consistent of at least Mr. Montgomery Wilson set it for the fall. Now, what he's saying is, they're anticipating discovery from the government concerning AJ. So what do y'all think that was? That was during 2024. January 2024 is when, was it January 2023? 2023, yeah. January 2023 is when they did the recordings when he was locked up. So whatever they got out in 2024, I don't think we've been made aware of that yet. You think about it. So the judge says, all right, so I don't need Montgomery Wilson to talk, but he's okay with this date. Goldberg says yes. All right, how about Powell? Yes, Your Honor, I spoke with Powell before court. Okay, well, it's an unusually long date, but if the defendants are okay with it, and you all believe you need that time to prepare properly, represent your clients, then the government's okay with that. Julian says yes. The reason why the judge is even saying this is because they don't want anybody to come back and be bitching about a speedy trial. All right, so there's a motion to exclude time. We'll give you a date. What was the date again? October what? The 14th. How does that date work, Emily? That date works. Is that a Monday? It's a Tuesday. Tuesday after Columbus Day. Okay, that's fine. We'll do October 14th, 2025. Is there a motion to exclude time? Julian says, yes, there is, Your Honor. We're going to exclude the time to that date. I will have a status in between them. Let's exclude the time to the trial date. Julian says, oh, I'll move to exclude. The judge says, certainly, have a status before that, but if that's the date, we might as well exclude time through it because we have the defendants here. I want to make sure that the record's clear that everyone's going to waive any speedy trial request on the record in the presence of your clients. Jason says, understood. Your Honor, then in the case, I'm moving to exclude any time to October 14th, 2025, in the interest of justice to allow a review of pretrial discovery, preparation, and pretrial motions, and just generally to pretrial preparation. Judge says, all right, on behalf of Montgomery Wilson, is there any objection? No. On behalf of Powell? No. All right. I'll enter that excludable time for those reasons. When do you think you might want to come back for a status? Jason says 60 days. Judge says, that's fine. You want to do it on phone or with your clients? Keith Spiegelberg says, I asked that our clients be brought, at least AJ. Blaine said we would go ahead and have in person. All right, we'll do that in about 60 days. The clerk says October the 3rd at 9:30. Court says, all right, we'll have the defendants brought over. If there's a reason to either accelerate that date or push it back, contact the courtroom deputy under either circumstances. We'll make sure the defendants are brought over for that. Goldberg says, Your Honor, is it possible to do it the day before, perhaps the 2nd, because the 3rd is a religious day for me? They said, sure. So now they set it for October the 2nd at 9:30. Does that work for everybody? Yep, it works for everybody. And that's all that got settled, really. Then they said, Preston Powell's attorney says, Your Honor, I did have one brief motion. We would ask that we be allowed to file certain defense motions ex parte in camera for the court's review. Judge says that's fine. Those are typically, well, any objection from the government, they're not going to be, these are, I think, no, until I see them what they are, but I anticipate they'll request for certain funds or certain types of testing that are allowed to do without knowing until we get the results, then we can reveal. They said, that's correct. Jason said there's no objection. All right, thank you. And that concluded that. Now, yes, there is a lot sealed. Now, let's see. I'm going to go look at their plot, their folder real quick. Let me see. So for October the 2nd, which they were, putting on the calendar, that was that. It says, status hearing was held October the 2nd, as in-person status hearing is set for December 17th. So let me go find that. Now, we've covered all of these, but let's see. Put them in order here. So it says December 17th. But before December 17th, on October the 31st, we had where they took the death penalty off the table. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. This is Preston Powell getting his attorney. Okay. November the 1st.
With Google Workspace, you can create a Gmail account with your own domain and branding.
Sealed motion of document 81, which we don't have because it's sealed. So from 83, then 84 we don't have. We go to 85, which was November the 15th. Preston Powell had this attorney who is going to be helping with the lady. Okay. And then 86, which was December 17th. It says they had a status hearing. The government has filed a status report as soon as they receive additional information on whether the death penalty will be sought